Most people over 60 are told the same thing about their hearing. It is just a normal part of getting older. It sounds sensible, it sounds harmless, but here is what nobody tells you. Ignoring that hearing loss does not just cost you conversations, it may quietly be costing you your memory. Large research reviews now rank hearing loss as one of the single biggest changeable risk factors for memory decline in later life. Memory clinics see this pattern every single day. The person who stopped hearing well 5 years ago is often the person now struggling to keep up. Today, I am giving you 5 things you can do about it, counting down to the one that matters most. And I will show you the one insight almost no 12-minute appointment ever has time to explain. The number 1 item on this list is something almost nobody connects to their brain. Stay with me until the end, because that one can change how you approach the next 10 years. Think about your last checkup. Your doctor listened to your heart, checked your blood pressure, and maybe glanced at your blood work. But did anyone test your hearing? Did anyone ask whether you strained to follow a conversation in a noisy room? In a 12-minute visit, there is simply no time, so hearing gets waved off as a normal nuisance instead of being treated as the brain issue it actually is. I want to be clear about something. I am not here to sell you a supplement or scare you into a course. This channel exists to give you the science a 12-minute appointment never has time to cover. Everything here is something you can act on at home or bring to your own doctor. Because this is not really about hearing, it is about staying sharp enough to live on your own terms, to follow your grandchild's story, to manage your own money, to keep your own independence. That is what is truly on the line. So tell me in the comments, what is your age and which country are you watching from? I read these and they tell me exactly who I am helping tonight. Here is the one idea that ties this whole video together. Your brain runs on a fixed budget of attention and energy. When your ears send it a clear signal, understanding speech is almost free. But when the signal is fuzzy, your brain has to work overtime just to guess what was said. Picture your home wired to a single electrical panel. Every appliance draws from the same power. Now imagine one old air conditioner running full blast day and night just to keep one room cool. The lights everywhere else start to dim. That is what struggling to hear does. It runs your listening on overdrive and it dims the power going to memory. Please do not skip this section. It is the key to everything that follows. If this is already making sense to you, tap the like button so more seniors can find it. That one tap is how these videos reach the people who need them. Number 5 is the simplest one, and most people never even try it. Silence the background noise whenever you have a conversation. Remember that power panel from a moment ago? Background noise is like leaving every other appliance running while you try to listen. Your brain cannot separate one voice from the clatter, so it burns extra fuel just filtering. In a quiet room, that same voice comes through almost for free. Less filtering means more power left over for remembering what was actually said. Hearing researchers call this effortful listening, and studies consistently show it drains working memory. Hold on to that idea, because the number 1 step coming at the end of this list depends on exactly it. So here is exactly what to do. When someone important starts talking, turn off the television or the radio first. Sit within 3 to 6 feet of the person and face them directly so you can see their lips. Allow only one conversation at a time in the room. In restaurants, ask for a booth against a wall and sit with your back to the noise. Do this every single time, not just when it already feels hard. If turning to face someone strains your neck, angle your whole chair instead of twisting. If a room still feels overwhelming after these steps, that is not a failure. It is a signal to step into a quieter space or to suggest moving the whole group. Straining until you get a headache means stop and simplify, not push through. Pair this with good lighting on the speaker's face. Your brain reads lips far more than you realize, and it needs to see the mouth clearly. Bright, even light plus a quiet room does more than either one alone. But quieting the room only protects the hearing you have right now. It does nothing to stop that hearing from slipping further next year. For that, you have to guard against the thing actively wearing your ears down, and that is number 4. Number 4 is about protection. Guard the hearing you still have from the noise that quietly destroys it. Inside your ear sit thousands of tiny hair cells that turn sound into signals. Think of them like blades of grass in a lawn. Walk across the lawn once and it springs right back. But stomp the same path every day and the grass dies and never regrows. Loud noise stomps that path and those hair cells do not grow back. Hearing organizations widely agree that sustained sound above 85 decibels causes permanent damage over time. That is roughly the level of heavy traffic or a loud lawnmower. Here is your rule. If you have to raise your voice to be heard by someone an arm's length away, the noise is too loud. Keep foam earplugs in your pocket and use them for mowing, power tools, and concerts. Keep your headphone and television volume at 60% of maximum or lower. Follow the 60-60 rule. No more than 60% volume for no more than 60 minutes at a stretch. And if you take any prescription medication, ask your doctor whether it affects hearing before changing a single thing. Simple foam earplugs from any pharmacy work fine, and you do not need anything expensive. If earplugs feel uncomfortable, earmuff-style protectors slip right over the ears instead. If your ears ring or feel muffled after an activity, that is a warning the noise was too much. Ringing that lasts into the next day means see a professional, not wait it out. Pair protection with the quiet room habit from number 5. One stops new damage, the other reduces the strain from the damage already there. Together, they keep your remaining hearing working as hard for you as possible. Still, protecting your ears keeps sound coming in, but sound is only half the story. Your brain also needs a steady reason to use that hearing, or the whole system rusts from disuse. That reason is number 3. Number 3 is the one people underestimate the most. Stay in the conversation on purpose every single week. When hearing gets hard, people quietly pull back. They skip the dinner. They go quiet at the table. They stop picking up the phone. Here is the trap. Your brain is like a footpath worn through a field. Walk it daily and it stays clear and open. Stop walking it, and the weeds close the path within a season. Researchers have repeatedly linked social isolation in later life to faster memory decline. And here is a preview. The biggest study of all found that the number 1 step ahead could slow memory loss by nearly half. So keep going. So build conversation into your week like an appointment. Aim for at least 3 real face-to-face talks a week, each lasting 15 minutes or more. Call one person on the phone every single day, even if only briefly. Join one standing group that meets weekly, like a class, a club, a card game, or a place of worship. Choose settings quiet enough for you to actually follow along. And when you miss a word, ask the person to repeat it, rather than nodding and drifting away. If leaving the house is hard, a daily video call does the very same job for your brain. If large groups exhaust you, choose 1 or 2 people instead of a crowd. There is no shame in steering towards smaller, quieter gatherings. If socializing leaves you drained instead of lifted, scale back the size, but do not quit the habit. Pair this with the hearing test we are about to discuss. It is far easier to stay in the conversation when you can actually hear it. Engagement and clear hearing feed each other. But all of this, the quiet, the protection, the conversation, assumes you actually know how well you hear. Most people are only guessing and guessing wrong. That is why number 2 is the step that unlocks everything above it. Number 2 is the one almost nobody does until it is too late. Get a baseline hearing test, called an audiogram. Hearing loss is sneaky. It creeps in so slowly that your brain quietly fills the gaps, so you rarely notice the day it slips. It is like a slow leak in a tire. Nothing looks wrong until you are suddenly flat on the side of the road. An audiogram is the pressure gauge that shows you the exact leak before it strands you. Studies estimate that a large share of older adults with real hearing loss have never had it measured or treated. In fact, most people wait around 10 years from the first sign before they finally act. Here is your plan. Book a full hearing test with an audiologist, not just the quick whisper test at a checkup. If you are over 60, get a baseline now, then repeat it every 1 to 2 years. Ask for a copy of the audiogram chart and keep it so you can track any change over time. Bring a family member who knows how you struggle day to day, and write down 3 specific situations where you strain to hear so the tester knows exactly what to check. The test itself is painless. You simply raise your hand or press a button when you hear a tone. If travel is hard, many clinics now offer validated tests. You can even start from home. If a home screen flags a problem, treat that as your cue to see a professional, not as your final answer. Sudden hearing loss in one ear is different. That means call your doctor the same day, not wait for a booking. Pair your audiogram with a simple written log of the daily moments you miss. Together, they turn a vague worry into a clear picture. And that clear picture is what makes the final step actually work, because knowing your number changes nothing on its own. The number only matters if you act on it, and that action is the single most powerful thing in this entire video. That is number 1. This is number 1. The one I promised could change your next 10 years. If your hearing test shows loss, treat it and then wear that treatment every waking hour. Here is why this sits at the very top of the list. Everything else on this list manages the strain. This one removes it at the source. When you restore a clear signal to the brain, it stops burning memory fuel on decoding, and it stops going quiet and withdrawing from the world. Go back to that overloaded electrical panel one last time. Treating your hearing is like finally shutting off that screaming air conditioner that was dimming every light in the house. Suddenly, the power floods back to the rooms that needed it, including the room where memories are made. And unlike a supplement or a puzzle app, this fix works on the actual wiring, not around it. In 2023, a major randomized trial called Achieve, published in a leading medical journal, tested this directly. Among older adults at higher risk of decline, those given hearing aids had their cognitive decline slowed by close to half over 3 years. That is one of the strongest results we have ever seen from something you can simply put on and wear. So here is exactly how to do it right, because most people do it wrong. First, get properly fitted by an audiologist, not a mail order guess. Second, and this is the part almost everyone misses, wear them all day, every day. The target is every waking hour, not just for television or for going out. Research is clear that occasional wearers get only a fraction of the benefit. Third, give yourself a real adaptation period of 30 days. Your own voice and the clink of dishes will sound strange at first, and that is completely normal as your brain adjusts. Fourth, start by wearing them at home in the quiet, then add busier places week by week. And fifth, go back for a follow-up fitting within the first month to fine-tune the settings. If prescription hearing aids are out of reach, the newer over-the-counter aids are now a real regulated option for mild to moderate loss. If tiny controls are hard for your hands, ask for larger models or a phone app to adjust them. Clean them as shown and keep spare batteries so a dead device never becomes an excuse to leave them in the drawer. If a fitting ever causes pain, pressure, or dizziness, that means stop and return to the fitter, because discomfort is not something to tough out. And if the sound ever suddenly cuts out or distorts, have the device checked rather than blasting the volume higher. Never keep wearing a device that hurts, no matter how much you paid for it. Pair your aids with everything already on this list. Wear them, then stay in the conversation in a quiet room with your ears protected. Each habit multiplies the others. The device gives you the signal, and the habits make sure your brain keeps using it. So, here is the payoff I promised you at the very start. The thing almost nobody connects to their brain is this. The same small devices most people avoid out of vanity may be one of the most powerful memory protectors we have ever found. It is not a drug, and it is not a gamble. It is a clear signal, worn every day, protecting the very mind you want to keep. Consider a typical case documented in the rehabilitation literature. A 74-year-old woman had been slowly withdrawing for years. Her family noticed she repeated the same questions. lost the thread of stories, and kept begging off family dinners. Everyone quietly assumed her memory was going, but no one had ever thought to check her ears. A proper hearing test finally showed moderate loss in both ears. She was fitted with hearing aids and coached to wear them every waking hour, not just now and then. She started turning the television off during conversations and moving her chair close at dinner. She rejoined her weekly card group, and she called her sister every single morning, whether or not she felt like it. Within a few months, her family described a completely different woman. She was following stories again, jumping into conversations, and staying for dessert. Her repeated questions dropped away sharply. Nothing had ever been wrong with her memory. It had simply been starved of a clear signal. So let us turn all of this into a plan you can start immediately. You do not need all 5 at once, you just need to begin. Tonight, do one thing. Turn the television off during your next real conversation and sit within 3 feet of the person. This week, book 1 full hearing test with an audiologist and ask for a copy of your audiogram. Also this week, put 1 pair of foam earplugs by your loudest tool or activity. Starting now, schedule 3 face-to-face conversations of 15 minutes each into your week, and call 1 person by phone every single day for at least 1 minute. If you already wear hearing aids, make 1 change tonight and wear them 1 extra hour. Then build toward every waking hour, not just for television and outings. That is 5 simple steps, and every one of them is small. Each one takes back a little of the power that hearing loss was quietly draining. Hearing is not vanity. Memory is not fixed. Independence is protected. So start with the 1 step you can finish before you go to bed tonight. Now think of someone in your life who has started saying "what" a little too often. Maybe a parent, a spouse, or a friend who has gone quiet at the table. Send them this video today because it may be the nudge that protects their memory, not just their hearing. And tell me in the comments which of these 5 you are starting tonight. Your answers decide exactly what I cover next. If this gave you the science your last appointment did not have time for, subscribe to this channel. That is the whole mission here. The real explanations a rushed visit always skips. This video is education, not a diagnosis. Your own doctor knows your history, so bring this list to your next appointment. I'm Judy Vance. Don't forget to subscribe and live longer.